David Cross. I am from Indispensable Leadership, and I want to thank you for purchasing our program, Now's the Time. I know that there's a lot of people out there vying for your attention. I know there's a lot of people out there on Facebook, on LinkedIn, everywhere, who are advertising and telling you that they have the answer. So it was a little difficult for me to even decide to put this program out there, because I really had to question whether I wanted to add to those numbers of people who are out there on the Facebooks, on the LinkedIns. Ultimately, I decided to do so because I think this is a program that can help people dramatically and that can save people a lot of time. The program is called Now's the Time. Besides being one of my favorite jazz pieces by Charlie Parker, now is the time that you can start to create fundamental change in your life. And this is really directed to people who are feeling stuck. They're feeling stuck professionally. They're feeling stuck in their personal lives. And I've been there too. And I want to show how you can get out of that stuckness. All right. And I know that this works because not only because it worked for me, but I am a historical expeditionary. I love history. And so we don't only look at neuroscience and modern ways of looking at how we can access our brain in order to become more effective, but we also look at history, how people have actually done these programs, whether they knew they were doing it or not. And so this program is going to use George Washington in a lot of ways. We're going to show you how he lived. It's not to celebrate George Washington. This program is to celebrate you, is to celebrate human capacity, is to show you how you can do some of the things that George Washington did. You know, if you're stuck, you probably have a story. We've all seen the police show where there's a detective sitting by himself in the police station looking at an old homicide case because he has nowhere to go, drinking bad coffee. And that's really a romantic portrayal, isn't it? This is a guy who's sold himself on being miserable. He's made this a romantic story. And a lot of us have reasons for being miserable. They might be healthcare, they might be student loans, they might be the children. These are not minimal things. I understand, and I've been there. However, despite these things, people have changed their lives. Think about it this way. If you have a job you hate your whole life, you may be doing a favor to your kids in terms of providing them with economic sustenance, but are you giving them the type of example they really need to find happiness in their life? It's important, I believe, that you find your calling and that you do what it is that you love to do. And I think you realize it's important because you're here watching this program. And what we can promise you in this program is that if you do the things, you do the exercises, you read the material, that you're going to be able to start changing your life immediately. That you could start a new business with no money down. And we're going to show you how to do all of those things. We're going to teach you about finding your calling. We're going to talk to you about how to change your mindset. Again, we're going to look at neuroscience, and we're going to look at people like George Washington and how they did change their mindset. One of the final modules is a story of Washington crossing the Delaware. And in that story, we really take everything we have learned up until that point, because it all plays a point. It all plays a role in George Washington being there with his men. Times are bad. He's miserable. He's depressed. He's unhappy. How did he turn things around? How did he get his people to follow him and cross the Delaware and change the nature of the war, change the nature of the world ultimately? Well, we're going to show you how he did that. But basically, everything leading up to that story is going to show you these things. Everything leading up is going to teach you about mindset, is going to teach you about using failure to succeed. Now, the only thing I ask of you is to follow along the directions as we provide them, because this has been created in a way that can really maximize its usefulness. So each module is done in a particular order. So we're going to ask that you follow that order, and we're going to ask that you look at the program, the checklist, that you look at the worksheets, and that you fill out the worksheets, that you look at the reading material that we offer. And if you do all of these things, I can promise you that you are going to be able to get on the journey of changing your life. It may be creating a side hustle that turns into something major. That's really what I did. I started with no money down. I was a lawyer. I was unhappy. I wanted to talk to people about history. It was as simple as that. And I'm going to show you how I changed my life. We're going to show you how George Washington changed his life. And we're going to show you ultimately how you can change your life. So thank you once again for purchasing this program, for showing your trust in us. And it's time to move on to the first module.